Today, we're tackling a challenge that a lot of high-achieving young professionals face: the pressure to appear confident and like you've got it all figured out, even if you don't. Or maybe you don't feel like you do. This feeling often comes up when you are the youngest or maybe the least experienced person in the room, but you have found yourself in a position where you're in charge of someone or something, or you're in a position to be telling other people what to do or what needs to happen. I always like to remind you that the people who are consistently and sustainably confident and successful are not the ones who have all of the answers instantly. They're the ones who are confident in their ability to get to the right answer over and over again. And they can do that because they have a system and a set of tools that they can trust that leads them to the right answer. The concept that we are adding to your tool belt today is called the 3 types of power. We're going to talk about how you can leverage these 3 types of power to navigate this challenge and own your role with confidence. Hi, I'm Jamie, and I'm here to transform how you work. I'm the founder of Career Brilliance, where we help people boost their business savvy and cross more things off their to-do list so they can fast-track their path to professional leadership and enjoy their workday more. If that sounds good to you, be sure to like this video and hit subscribe. Okay, so you've likely already figured out that relying on a fancy-sounding title or role like team lead or project manager isn't the key to feeling confident. It's also not all that effective in achieving purpose or affecting change. And that is exactly how Martin Luther King Jr. defined power. And we're going to spend a lot of time talking about that today. This form of getting things done, where someone relies on their title, is called positional power. And it's actually the most brittle type of power. This is the approach of saying to someone, you have to do what I'm telling you to do because I'm in charge and I said so. It often rings hollow and is just not very effective. Maybe you have experienced or intuitively know that relying on this type of power quickly loses its effectiveness if it ever works at all. So it should be used sparingly and strategically. If you believe that this is the only tool in your tool belt when it comes to getting things done, it is no mystery that you are lacking in confidence and feel misaligned to your values. So what can we do instead? Thankfully, there are 2 other types of power that we can tap into to boost your confidence more sustainably and authentically. The first is content power. And this is all about the expertise and the knowledge that you bring to the table. Content power achieves purpose and affects change by saying, you should do what I'm telling you to do because I know what I'm talking about and you can trust my expertise. In any new setting, this is the type of power that you should start with. You want to establish your credibility and earn respect by knowing your stuff. If you're not feeling confident going into an interview or a meeting, do your homework and be the most well-versed on the subject at hand. Err on the side of seeming rehearsed rather than unprepared. By demonstrating that you have a solid understanding of the content, you can build your own confidence and trust that you can make good decisions to fill in the gaps from there. Now, please note, there is a time and a place for this. Once you have built up enough credibility and you have the confidence, you don't always have to over-prepare. And in some cases, that might actually backfire. But that is a discussion for another day. Today, we are focused on getting you up to speed so that you can effectively shift into the 3rd type of power, which is actually the most effective and in a lot of cases feels the most authentic. Speaking of, let's talk about personal power. This is all about connecting with other people and affecting change through personal connection. With this one, you're saying you should do what I'm telling you to do because I have our mutual best interests at heart. You trust my recommendation and direction because we have enough history to know that I have not led you astray before. Eventually, you'll want to build this type of power and rely on it more and more. But as the definition suggests, this takes time and intentional effort to fully develop. So to build this personal power, there are several things that you can do. You'll want to establish good faith relationships with the people on your team, in your meetings, etc. This looks like just asking people how they're doing and trying to get to know them better. It also looks like assuming positive intent and working towards mutual solutions, seeking to understand their perspective and their struggles, and genuinely trying to make their lives better and easier. Building relationships with the people you are collaborating with and leading is truly the key to becoming the most effective at your job and enjoying your work the most. Before we wrap up, let's address imposter syndrome. This is a commonly reported feeling among young professionals. According to the American Psychological Association, imposter syndrome is a collection of feelings of inadequacy that persist despite evident success. This term has entered our collective vocabulary, but I want to reframe it a bit in terms of the different types of power that we walked through today. Imposter syndrome is this pervasive feeling that you're a fraud and that you're about to be found out. It disproportionately affects the people who are not in the majority or people who are not typically in positions of power. So often that's women, people of color, and as we discussed today, younger or less experienced professionals. The primary drivers of imposter syndrome are one, that you feel like you have not adequately earned the seat at the table in which you are sitting, or that even if you have earned it, you still don't really belong. The reality is, no one can fix the otherness that you feel. If you are truly the only woman on your team, there are times that will be extremely apparent to you. Speaking from experience. If the people you are managing have 20 years more experience than you do, there will be days that you will be reminded of that. And that is not your fault. That is not something to be fixed by labeling it with this imposter syndrome. There is a true reality to that you actually are different and other from the other people who are in positions of power. However, we can become more accepting and effective within our positional power by combating imposter syndrome with the other two types of power. By grounding first in our content power and having confidence that we are truly informed and aware of the what and the how of the work, it can mitigate this sense that we have not earned this position that we're in. If you know yourself well and what unique strengths you have and what talents you bring, you can also trust yourself more to show up as yourself more often. Then, by looking at our relationships with others, we can find belonging. My very first job right out of college, I was plopped onto a project team with 20 guys, and I was the only woman. It was super intimidating at first. But then after a few weeks, it wasn't a team of 20 guys anymore. It was these people on my team. It was Chase and Will and Charlie. I started to build relationships and get integrated into the team. So I did feel more of that sense of belonging. If you feel isolated from the people around you and you get nervous every time you have to ask for something from someone, it makes perfect sense that you would feel like an imposter and you would feel like you don't belong. But leaning into those connections can create that sense of belonging that I have personally found to be the most powerful antidote to imposter syndrome. Okay, there you have it. Everything that you need to know about the three types of power. You can use these to increase your confidence and combat imposter syndrome so that you can make the incredible contribution that we both know you are capable of. If this discussion resonated with you and you're interested in going deeper, I have a program coming out in early 2025 that will be way more content just like this. You can join the waitlist now, the link is in the description, to secure your exclusive discount and be the first to know when the doors are open to join. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.